Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Badass Mama Moves. And before we jump into tonight's conversation, let me introduce you to my amazing guest joining me tonight, and that is the powerhouse, the comeback queen, Elena Rodriguez.
Yay! Hello, everybody. Yara, thank you for having me on your show, Badass Mama Moves. It's good to be here tonight.
Yes, thank you for joining me tonight. So tell us, who are you, Elena, for those who don't know you, because who are you?
Okay, well, I'm your friend, number one. No, but I'm joining in from Indiana. I am the actual founder of the Crown Builder Framework and Prospera TV Network. So we got Yada on here with her show, Badass Mama Moves, and this is a Prospera Live episode. And I'm the woman behind the scenes that has made it all
Yeah,
happen. So
she's the one that made it happen. It's all her fault.
yeah, it's all my fault.
So tonight we're talking about something that looks fun online, but can be completely different in real life, and that is college life. So Elena, when you hear college life, the words college life, what comes to mind? Um, what do you think about the first thing that comes to your mind?
Okay, the first thing that comes to my mind is it sounded fun, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
For me. And so college, I don't know. I went to college for a short amount of time and it just didn't work for me. And I have two sons who kind of have my entrepreneurial spirit as well. So it's kind of a tight fit for them also. So I never experienced like the whole college campus and doing that whole thing. I really didn't.
Yeah. For me, it was fun at the beginning till quite wasn't. That's why I took an accounting. So it was a little difficult, but then I took a big gap and then I didn't graduate till like I was 30. That's when
Okay.
I completed my bachelor's. So
Okay. So you
yeah,
took your time. So you took your time.
a heck
Yeah.
of a time. Yes.
The crazy thing is when I did go, I wanted to be a CPA. I wanted to be a certified public accountant. And I was working at a CPA firm at the time, and they were like, if you keep a certain grade, GPA, they were going to pay for 80% of my college. But the crazy thing is, I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked here. But the crazy thing is, I was like I loved the work. I was working so much. We went into tax season. I was working like 12 hours, like it was just crazy. And my grades they just plummeted. And I thought I didn't want that on my record. So I actually like withdrew myself and said, I'll go back. And I
Mhm.
never went back. So that's my
Yeah.
story.
I never, a lot of people ask me, like, why don't you go for the CPA? I never wanted to do that. Like, it has never been my desire. Though I do a lot of accountancy work. Like, let me tell you, I do accounting work all day, every day. But I never wanted to be a CPA. Like, I do everything and give it to CPA. They do the tax. I
Yep.
don't want it. And let me tell you, I rocked the tax class in college. Like, I loved it. But no, I don't want to do that every day.
Yeah.
I mean, college should be an exciting season and also can be very expensive.
Yeah.
Um, it could be really expensive, which brings me to something that really got me under my skin
Mhm.
recently. And let me tell you, it got me so far up. And it's all your fault again, Elena, because you started asking a whole bunch of questions. Because this month I've been participating in your June Builder Quest
Mhm.
30-day challenge, and that you're hosting. And for the audience here, that is where each day we have to answer a question or complete a sentence about our business, whether it's about what we do, how we help the people that we serve, some other deeper question that, of course, challenges you and it helps you to bring clarity,
Yeah.
and it grows you for sure, and that's the point. So last week on day 3 of the challenge, the question that you asked us, oh my god, it was so fair. Because not to mention what was going on in the chat, because that chat was a fire that day. And the question was, what problem makes you angry?
Hmm.
Remember that?
Yep.
That was like going back and forth. And of course, it's related to the business. So I share something that is genuinely bothers me, which is the amount of debt people are carrying in this country, and
Hmm.
more so how these credit card companies are targeting college students so early on before they came and really start living. And like I said, the numbers are staggering, not just on loan debt or student debt, credit card, just debt in general.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
really bothers me because behind those numbers are real person really struggling. And I see that firsthand working with individuals and their finances, and more so my fellow single mamas, me being one. I know exactly how it feels. I know this way too well. So what bothers you, Elena, since you asked the question?
Yeah.
What's
Oh,
something that
well,
bothers you?
since we're talking about this, I'll stick to this, but I could like tell you a lot of things that I see with the business that I do. So if anybody like wants to know what I do, I actually work with small business owners. I help you get really, really clear, and asking questions is one of the ways. But for me on this topic, okay, there's not ever education on debt, on credit cards. There's not education on, how to maintain a great credit score. What do you really need credit for? I mean, it's just kind of like a free for all.
Mhm.
People assume that you just like know this stuff. And so with my sons right now, my youngest is going to be 21 and my oldest is going to be 25. And there's so many things out there now with like afterpay and break these, there's just like all these things that make it look really great up front. To we can break the payment out and we can like take our
Mhm.
time, but at the same time, there's also this fear that if they ever want to get a house, they need to have this credit score. And the only way to get a credit score is to like maintain 30% of, I mean, there's just so much to it that if you don't know this stuff, it can really mess with you. And I will tell you where why it gets me. And this is kind of a personal lesson, is I had gotten credit cards when I was young, and then I went and opened my first business and, took a loan out and had all the things. I got to a point where I paid everything off. I did not want not a single credit card. I didn't want to have any kind of debt. And at that time, me and my husband, my husband that passed, but at that time, we like, here's a really side note. We had bought a home in foreclosure, so we bought the home cash, right? Well, after he died and all this kind of mess surfaced, I thought it was great that I didn't have credit cards or anything like that. And because I didn't have credit or debt or a ratio or anything, it hit me harder. Like it was harder because I didn't look like I had any debt. I'm through a credit card. It was
Yeah.
crazy. So I'm not the person to ask, because that's why we're here with you, but I don't like it like all the way around. And I know that there's got to be some good things that come out of it, but I have yet to find that.
Well, we do need the credit. There's a way to do it without digging yourself into debt, but that's a conversation for another time.
Yes.
But like right now, as of the end of 2025, the total household debt in the United States surpassed the 18 trillion, like trillion with a T,
18
and
trillion.
trillion, and that
Wow.
is crazy. That
Wow.
is so crazy. And again, behind those numbers are people really losing sleep, really struggling, people stressed out to the roof every month trying to figure out how they're going to pay their bills and make ends meet. People
Wow. I'm going to
making
put that in the chat. That's 18 trillion in household debt.
as of the end of 2025. Yes,
Wow.
crazy. People making minimum payments while
Mhm.
balances keep growing because the minimum payment barely
Yeah.
makes it to the principal. So that one swipe, that one purchase can easily be paid 3 times over. So it's just crazy. And there are a lot of people who feel like no matter how hard they work, they can't get ahead.
Yeah. Hmm.
Because that's how the system works. But anyways, and one of the things that make me especially angry is seeing adults getting pulled into the debt before they even have the chance to start living.
Hmm.
From early on, young adults. It's just crazy. And my son right now, he's a junior in college right now. He's been receiving credit card offers while he was still in high school, like
Wow.
high school. That is just crazy. And I remember standing there looking at these envelopes thinking like, how in the world?
Yeah.
Like for real? How they're already marketing credit to my child before he has even graduated?
Right. But and did he even have a job at the time? Like,
No,
like, so they're offering him credit, not even with no source of income.
no credit and also student loans. I
Yeah.
get my inbox so many in the mail, so many offers for like for student loan. Like it's just crazy.
Wow.
It's crazy. Like I know this is what they do. These lenders are always hunting and looking for new customer, but holding those envelopes in my hand is just got me fuming. And because these companies know exactly what they're doing, they sell convenience. Nowadays that's what people look for the most. That convenience, that microwave results, and they sell freedom, supposedly freedom. They sell instant gratification, like you said earlier. So many ways to buy now, pay later. And then you get stuck with that. They sell the dream that can turn into a nightmare later.
Mm-hmm.
But then they don't talk about, of course, they won't talk about the stresses that come, the crazy interest, the minimum payments, that can take you years, to dig yourself out of this
Yeah.
debt. They don't talk about the years of debt that can follow and how people can spend years and years and years trying to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
And many young adults were never taught how any of this really works. They just swipe, swipe, swipe. It feels good. They don't feel it. Just swipe. And before you know it, they're carrying balances they can't pay off.
Yeah. Well, and that I think goes hand in hand with just the society today of the short attention span, the
Yeah.
instant gratification. How you said people like we don't even have an attention span that can last like longer than 3 seconds, and so it's like if you get something that says like, "Hey, I can get this now and I can worry about it later,"
Mm-hmm.
they're probably thinking like, "This is awesome," you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is that the pressure is not just coming from credit card companies. The pressure is also coming from the social media too. Because I don't think today's students are just trying to keep up with the people around them anymore. Like years ago, you compare yourself to people in your school, neighborhood, or maybe your inner circle. But today, our kids are really comparing themselves to millions of people online every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And many of whom only are showing these highlight reels and what they want you to see. And they're seeing the trips and the shopping spree and the latest tech whatever, and it looks like a perfect life, but it's just not even right. And that's a whole different level of pressure that can make young people feel like they are falling behind even when they're not.
Yeah.
They're really not. They're just doing fine. So what do you think? Like, do you think that today's young people are feeling that pressure to spend money and keep up compared to how we were like growing up based on like what they see in social media? Do you think that's a like how you say that, like a pressure point, like a target?
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna use an example. I'm not gonna use any names, but I knew somebody that I worked with years ago. We're talking like 2014, 2015, like somewhere around there. Okay. And we were in corporate leadership. So we had jobs that we made good money and all of that. And it's almost like this couple wanted the bigger house and the bigger this and the better that. And it was amazing because her and I got to know each other so well that I literally knew she was charging her Starbucks every morning, and they couldn't afford this home. I mean, and at that time it made me wonder like what the heck, like who are you trying to keep up with? Who are you comparing yourself to? And at that time, we got Mary on here. Hey, Mary. At that time, it made me realize like this huge home to be able to say that like I'm keeping up with all of these, other corporate leaders. Okay, she was still in her 30s. Like this was a newly married, starting a family couple. But other of the corporate leaders were the ones that were like in their 50s, 60s that had these homes. And so then I got to thinking about like our own parents and how long it took them to work to get what they had. And yet we're coming up thinking we should already have that. Like we were coming up thinking like, you know, we don't want the starter home. We don't want that 1 or 2 bedroom. We want this like big thing. So I think it's almost like forgetting that the work that our parents did took years. You know,
Right.
it took a long time, and we're thinking like we got to come out and just like have it all right now. And I don't know. Like I don't know if it is the social media, where the judgment came from, why people started attaching their worth on like all the things. But I know people that are stressed and like can't even sleep at night. And it's like, so why have this like huge home when half the rooms aren't even furnished because you can't put furniture in it? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just different, but I think it's forgetting that our parents had to work really hard and it took them a long time. They didn't get married and then just come out with these grand homes. They had to work for things. And somehow us coming up thinks we need to just have it right away. I don't know.
Yeah. And I think it can come from many different ways, and trying to compare with friends that not social media, but like your inner circle, your neighbors, trying to compete, and things like that. But like right now, going back into the social media conversation, everything is online, everything gets posted, everything gets compared. You see you see the college students, like pictures of the spring break trips and the shopping sprees and all of that weekend adventures, that whatever it may be. And if you're a student sitting in your dorm, for example, trying to stretch your money until payday or until you get money somehow, some way, you can start feeling like you are the only person struggling. And the thing is that there's a lot of students that are struggling, a lot of young adults that are struggling, and they just hide it because they feel ashamed, embarrassed, and they feel less than, right? Because they can't keep up with whoever they're trying to, classmate or whatever the case. They're smiling, they're posting reels and the highlight, but they're really behind the scenes. They're just like worried about this, and stressing and watching their bank accounts holding almost no money in it, wondering how they're going to make their money last until the next how you say that, financial aid disbursements or next paycheck or money coming from home, whatever the case. But it's just like when we look at what's happening, I see a lot of people trying to maintain a lifestyle simply that they can afford. Like you just share about these people, right? And the pressure to fit in, to keep up, and it has gone to such another level that is just crazy, right? People really digging themselves into debt, into more debt, just because they want to keep up with whoever. Like for what?
Yeah.
Like for what?
Yeah. And for me, I think for me, it was life. Like life had to just teach me my lessons. Cause I'll tell you what, in my early 20s, I'm single, I'm going out, like you're going to be mad at me when you hear this, but my credit card that was like off the charts, was a Victoria's Secret.
Oh my God.
Credit card. And the crazy thing is they had the best jeans, and then they had the cutest shoes that I could get in size 5, and because I'm short. I call myself short and stout. So like clothes don't fit me very good, but some things at Victoria's Secrets I was able to order, but I would order jeans even in the short, but then I'd still have to go get like cut to fit me right. I mean, I spent like crazy money, but Victoria's Secrets, I bought my clothes, I bought like all the other stuff. That was my card. That was just, I think about it today and I'm like, because I felt like every time I went out, I had to have something new. I had to feel sexy. I had to look good. And then life comes and knocks you on your ass, and it's just like, now I'm just in the same jeans and t-shirts every day, and it's kind of like a life lesson. But I don't know. I mean, do you think you can learn those lessons without life kicking you in the booty to teach them to you?
I mean, yes and no, right? If a person have, I don't want to say common sense, but if they, no, let me say this: if they are realistic enough, they would put themselves in that situation, right? If they really don't care. But again, we don't really know what's going on and what's going through these people's mind. What's the real pressure that they have and from whom or whatnot. Yeah. But if it's someone that really stands on themselves, they don't care, they just are, they just are who they are, regardless. If you like me, you like me. I don't think they will put themselves in that situation, because when you're trying to keep up again and trying to compare and have that peer pressure, that's when this step and swiping situation shows up, comes into the picture. So,
and you say peer pressure. It's a form of a peer pressure, and I never have even looked at it that way. But you're like, no, drink this beer, no, smoke this joint, no, do this, no, do that. But yet when it comes to the clothes or name brands or the going and doing this, it is another form of peer pressure. So even somebody that knows they don't have the money doesn't want to miss out, doesn't want to not be part of the group. So if they go eat dinner or go have drinks, it's easier to swipe the credit card and still feel like you're part of it. That you nailed. I mean, it is a form of peer pressure, and I never even looked at it that way.
I remember when I was in middle school, there was a group of friends, if you can call it friends, right? That because I was not really in the that wouldn't keep up with them in the sense of going shopping or eating out almost every day they were in school, all that. They just kicked me to the curb because I was just not going to do it. Like, I'm not going to follow you. What? Yeah. No, that's just not me. So
they were like the group of mean girls.
yeah. Like, you're not my friend. But anyway, but again, with this peer pressure and trying to keep up and compare yourself or whatnot, this is where the credit cards can become super duper dangerous. We should look at credit cards and borrowing money like as a tool. And a tool can either help you or hurt you, depending on how you use it. And the problem is that in the wrong hands or without the right knowledge, like you said earlier, that tool can cause a whole lot of damage and a whole lot of problems. And one of the scary things is that credit cards are easy. Like, I would say way too easy, because now you can even add it in your phone. You just tap. Like, you hungry, you swipe or tap. You need clothes, whatever, you swipe. If the friends are going out, oh, let me just tap, right? Yep. Every time you swipe or you tap, it feels small in the moment and it's easy. You swipe, tap, done, whatever, keep it moving. And it's, it's just $20 here, it's $40. It's like not a big deal until you do that over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And then that one day when you get your statement, you see all of that. Suddenly that little bit has turned into a big balance that you didn't even expect, right? You weren't thinking about it.
Especially, and I'm just going to add, especially if it's going out, having fun and having drinks. Okay. Because if you're in an environment where you're having drinks, you're already like, what's the word? Like, not thinking clearly if you're out having drinks. So it's easy to say like, no, I got this one. And you don't even know what everybody ordered, but you're like swiping, and then you're like, oh, like that was a big balance, or that was a big total there. But it's easy to do. Like, it is so easy to do. Yeah,
it is. And another thing, talking about hanging out and like when you go by a train, every time they ask me, you want to keep the tab open? Nope. That's a big no. Nope.
Okay, that's a lesson. That's a lesson for me because I'm always like, yeah.
I say as I go. I didn't come here too often either, so you can see my friend all the time. Oh my God.
I'm gonna hear you. I'm gonna hear you every time they ask me now. Because normally I'm like, yeah, just keep it open. And then I'm like,
hell no. No tab open. You know how many times I've seen people charging the credit cards or debit cards that they don't even know because they were in the club or whatever. They left it open and all of a sudden they hit all these tricks. No, hell no. Don't leave it open, people, please.
That's tip number one. Don't leave the tab open. Mm-hmm.
So it's just, and again, making this minimum payments, you paying this interest are high as heck. You're wondering why the balance barely moves. And I think one of the biggest things that is missing in real life financial education, honestly, is where I wish there was at least one required financial literacy class in every high school. Because that it is so important.
Yeah.
Like for real, many young adults graduate without understanding how interest works, how this minimum payments work, how credit scores work, and what happens, when you start getting debts in this stuff, the debts start piling up.
Yeah.
And it's not criticism, how can you expect someone to make informed decisions about something they were never taught? And
right.
I think, yeah,
I'm big on that because, for me personally, growing up, my parents had 7 businesses and were like millionaire entrepreneurs in their 30s. So growing up, all I saw was money, but there was no education on a budget. Absolutely none. And all I knew was like, we had all these things, all this stuff. And I remember going shopping. Like I was younger, my sister was older, but with my mom. And I remember like just being so bored, but I mean, they would like just all these hand shopping, kind of like Pretty Woman when she's like carrying these handbags, like not even the plastic ones. These were like the handle bags. Right. And I just remember back then it was just like, write a check or here's my card. I never saw cash. And the other thing is I never saw like when were bills being paid or like what's a household budget or how are we even tracking our utility? I mean, I didn't know any of that. And, later I learned, well, all of that was handled during the day at the business and the offices and stuff like that. So I grew up just kind of having to figure it out because like you mentioned, there is no education that is available to middle school or high school. Like, I don't think it's ever too early to start teaching, but I kind of had to learn like late. And then I don't feel like I really even knew well enough as a new mom. Like I didn't know how to teach my sons these things. And so once they saw like my whole life, like flip upside down, it impacted them. And these were all things that we had to learn together. But yeah, if there's no education out there, then it's kind of like whatever is passed down, that's all you know. And for some, if they were taught really well by their parents, great, kudos. But if you weren't, you're screwed.
Yeah, that's why these conversations like this are so important. And people, like if you're out there watching, please share this, whoever you think may need to hear this conversation, because it's really important for them to understand and learn all these things, and break that cycle. A lot of young people understand how to swipe a card, but they don't fully understand what happens after the swipe.
Yeah.
And
now can I ask you, with you doing the work that you do, okay, you help single mamas stop living paycheck to paycheck, right? They make their money, they've got it going on, so they're doing all right. They're just the one at the end of the month that's like, what the heck, like where's all my money going? So I know that you are amazing at working with your single mamas like that, how have you taken your expertise? Because I know that you're even like licensed through Dave Ramsey and all of that, but how have you taken your complete expertise around the subject matter and implement it in your household with your son?
Well, my son, he has a little side part-time job, and I told him as soon as he started, I'm gonna let you have the first check. It's a very first paycheck. Do whatever you have, whatever you want, have fun. After the second, we're gonna sit down and create a budget, and we're gonna create a budget and update the budget every time you get paid. And that's what I've been doing. Teaching him, the in and out. Okay, you got this. How you gonna break it down? He said, "Well, I don't get that much money. I don't have that many expenses. Doesn't matter. You have income coming in.
Yeah.
How you gonna distribute and allocate that income? You need to assign that money a job. So he's been learning. Now he's doing it. I said, okay, now you do it. I review it, and that's what we've been doing now. So now he's doing it. So that's great.
Nice.
Now, me personally, I budget to the cent every month. Like right now, I already did July. I have my August budget in draft. I already know I know my expenses. I know what is coming in. I know the ones that are once a year, that are coming in now in July and August is already there. I have my sinking expenses, which I know I'm planning. Like right now, the retreat, I've been saving for that, right? So it's there in my budget. Next year, I'm planning for 2 things, a trip. I'm already saving for that. So it's planning every month.
Yeah.
With my money and where it's going. Because remember, I also have my personal and then I have my business expenses. So I have two.
Yep.
Me as a single mom, I'm very, it's what I do, right? It's what I do. But I'm very careful because it's only one income.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have no cushion. I have no second income I can fall on. Nothing. It's just me, myself, God, me, and myself. That's it.
There you go. Yeah.
That's it. So I can go crazy, right? And I budget for everything. If I have an outing, I budget for that.
Yeah. Now, what do you tell the woman that? Well, and I say woman just because I know you work with single moms, but what do you tell the person that is like, oh, budget, like they're almost looking at it as like it's constricting or gonna suffocate them, and they want their freedom to like. So is it kind of an exchange? Well, you can have that freedom and the flexibility to do whatever, but then you got stress, or is it try to not look at a budget as stressful? It will help you. Like, how do you get somebody in those beginning patterns of starting something that they might think is going to be really hard?
Yeah, I explain it to them as being a money plan, not budget. I try to refrain from using that, but because I know that B word can create a whole people cringe, right?
Yep.
So I either say money plan, spending plan. I try to say those words. And I explain it to them. Like right now, you don't know how much your expenses. When you plan it, you know where you're standing, you know what's coming in, what's going out, and you can plan. And it's not restriction. It's actually the opposite. It's freedom because you know where you're standing financially, and you know what you can afford and what you cannot.
Yep.
Rather, instead of just swiping and making purchases, and then when you look at your bank account, you're in the red.
Yeah.
And you got an overdraft fee, and then a real bill comes in and it bounces because you don't have enough.
Yep. That's happened to me before. It's happened to me before.
Yeah. And having a plan it brings you that clarity to know, okay, this month I cannot get me those pair of shoes that I want so fancy because I have these bills that I need to get paid. But next month, okay, I can put in the budget and get my fancy shoes. Yep. It's not that you cannot live and have fun. It's knowing how you do it and put it there.
Yeah. That's important. I will say, I think it has been 2 years now from when we started having these conversations, but a lot of my subscriptions are gone, done. because there was the one conversation you had said, I think you did like a challenge or like something for us to do. And it was amazing at realizing the annual subscription, the one that you forget about, and then it's like taken out of your account and you're like, what the heck? So, looking at the annual and then just even the monthly ones, that it's just like, what? Some that I set up so long ago. And I'm like, I don't even have that email address anymore. Like, how many years have I been? I mean, it was crazy when I looked at some of these things because life hit and I just went into autopilot. And so it's amazing at how simple my month is now. Like my month is like so simple because I cleared out a lot of the stuff that I didn't really need anymore. Yeah.
That's one of the main and most common money leaks that people have, subscriptions, because they subscribe into the free trial, then they forget about it and they start charging. They have the phone, the cable that are really expensive, and sometimes you don't even use it. That you can renegotiate the bill and bring it down, or maybe get rid of it altogether. Insurances is another one. Life change. The life insurance or the whatever insurance you had last year or when your kids were little are not the same that you may need now. 2-3 years after, and the kids are bigger. So those are things that we should be looking at least once a year. So those are really important. Those little, runs to the convenience store when you put in gas, those add up. Again, they don't feel as much. It's only $5. It's only $2. But how many times you put gas, you're gonna go to the convenience store, then gonna add up at the end of the month. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's happened to me. We were, it was me, my mom, and my son, and we were leaving one place and decided to do this like random visit, outdoors. We went and saw my grandma and her grave, at her burial site. Just, it was just a nice day outside, but it was hot. And so I was like, let's just stop at this tiny gas station and get us some waters. $8 for 3 bottles of water, 3 bottles of water. And I'm just like, wow. Like I that tells you how long it's been since I've done something like that. But I'm like, $8 for just like 3 bottles of water. So it is no surprise to me that we can say that there's 18 trillion in debt. The end of, would you say, end of 2025? Like, it's amazing to me. And I think that's by you bringing up this conversation, especially with the kids going into college. But I think it's safe to say that for any mom and dad or single mom, single dad, it's okay to say you're stressed in your finances, because I don't know anyone that doesn't have some sort of stress, might not be the right word, but concern of where their money is right now. Like, I don't know anybody that's like, no, I'm good. Like, I don't worry about nothing. Our economy is not that way right now,
I worry all the time. And this is what I do. And like I said, I budget to the dollar, but again, it's only me. So that's in my head all the time.
Yeah. And do you hear, like, there's times where I've read where, when you think of the 2 income households that are struggling, and it's like, I can't even tell you how hard it is when you're the only one running it. Yeah, it's crazy, crazy.
But again, it goes back to people living above their means. You need to live at that level. And another thing that I always tell people is that if you get an increase in your salary, ignore it. Continue living as if you did not have that increase, and put that into a debt or savings or retirement, whatever the case. Continue living as if you did not receive it.
Now, what do you feel about, and I'm probably taking you off track of what you're wanting to talk about, but my brain's like, bing, bing, bing. I remember because I met Dave Ramsey a couple of years back when I was working with John Maxwell, and he in his money talk we were having breakfast, and he was talking about the emotional attachment that we have to actual cash. When you're holding cash in your hand, it's a lot harder to give the cash you have, knowing that this is all you're going to have left, and it makes you think more about what you're buying. But cash is kind of like going away. So do you think that that has contributed to like some of this crazy amount of debt going on?
Yeah, because again, people don't feel it when they swiping and now tapping, tapping it, they don't feel it.
Yeah.
As opposed to having that cash, it really does something to you psychologically. As you see that money go, you feel it.
Yeah.
You really do. And I have worked with people that if I say if you don't trust yourself until you get the hang of it, use the cash envelope method.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you'll be more likely to really stick to it, because once the money is gone from the envelope, you're done. So next month.
That's it.
That's it. So it really does something to you when you feel and you really handing that cash like, oh my God.
Yeah. And it feels good when you see it starting to get bigger and bigger. When you got more cash in there, you almost don't want to touch it because you're excited that it's like, woo, it's growing, and you can see it.
Yeah. So going back to our kids. So like I was saying, like a lot of people, young adults, and college students, they don't understand when they swipe what happens really after that. They don't realize that purchase that they make today can follow them for months and months and months and years, even, and making those minimum payments. And, again, you cannot put the blame to them, because I think we've done a poor job as a society in preparing them for this financial, to make wise financial decisions and expect, to become adults so quickly when they really don't understand this money management thing. And that's why this conversations really matters, because knowledge it doesn't guarantee perfect decisions, because it's just not going to happen, but it definitely helps people and our young people, to make better ones. And another thing is that catches a lot of parents off guard is that once your kids turn 18, there are things that we simply can't access without their permission. I don't know if a lot of people don't know that once they're 18, sometimes you can't even ask about their medical and stuff like that because they're 18, and that's a whole conversation for another time. Yeah.
Let me tell you on that one, heck yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
It is, because that one is really deep. But anyway, but it really shows how quickly society expects these young adults to figure life out when they're just starting.
Yeah.
And one minute they're asking you for advice, and the next minute they're expected to make whole college life decisions and for the future. And honestly, many of them are still trying to figure out life out for themselves, and simply aren't fully prepared for this whole life situation thing. So, and that's exactly why financial education matters. And I wish they have that financial literacy in schools, because I know it will help so much. When people don't fully understand how these things work, it's easy for them to make decisions that feel small in the moment, but in the long term, it just really brings consequences. And that brings me to the next thing that I would like to talk about. It's how many times have you looked at your credit card statement and thought like, wait a minute, I know I've been making payments. Like, who, like, again, you make those minimum payments, it's like the balance really doesn't move. Like, you owe almost the same amount.
Yep.
Because you're definitely there's a lot of people like that. And what a lot of people don't realize is that that credit card interest rate is around 20 to 25% right now. That's really high, sometimes even higher, and think about it. So a purchase of $100 in a credit card, you actually making at least $120 payment on that $100 purchase. But if you pay the minimum, you're gonna pay that two, three, four times over.
Yep.
And again, it's convenience. It's one of the reasons people overspend um, with that swiping, making it so easy and tapping it. It's just, again, it doesn't hurt the same way as handing cash I was just talking about. And this is something I post about all the time and I talk about all the time. And with my coaching and my FPU classes, when you hand somebody cash, you feel that money leaving you, like I was saying. And it does something to you psychologically. So, but with a card, it's just a swipe, tap, keep it moving. They don't feel it. It's done.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's almost like something that you just deal with once a month when you get your statement, but you carry on throughout the rest of the time. Like everything is fine. With this work that you do, okay, do you see, what if there was somebody like a single mama out there that's like, yeah, my child is getting ready to go to college. I struggle to handle these things for myself. How do I even begin to teach better lessons for them? Like, do you do that kind of work with people?
Yeah, I definitely help them as well. And again, it's just a matter of having a plan. And putting my sharing a little bit about me with my son and when he was getting ready to go to college. Um, I started, first of all, we went college shopping, right? Right. And there are colleges out there that are more expensive than other, and you should be able to, I mean, do your homework, right? How much is the credits? If you go into a community college, or at least to get your basics first, and then go move into university, that's what you want, right? Depending on the what is it that you want to study for, or if it's a technical college, they are cheaper and things like that. But also scholarships are so helpful. We started applying for scholarships before, like when he was still in high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before, while he was still in high school, obviously, as he entered, and till this day, he continues to apply for scholarship because a lot of people have this belief that they cannot apply for scholarships while they're in college. You can apply for scholarships all the way through the end.
Wow.
Every year, every month.
So it's not something that's like a one and done, and if you miss it, you miss it type of thing.
Yeah. And thankfully, and we've been blessed. He's been awarded at least 3 or 4 already.
Nice.
That's amazing. Every time he said, "Mommy, I got good news," they're like, "Oh my Lord Jesus." Yeah, keep it coming. But again, going back to your question, I another way to start teaching them and bringing up that awareness to them is to sit down with them and do it with them so they can see, what's going on, the money, how you manage it, when you're planning the income, the expenses. I tell my son, look, this month we spent this much in gas. This month, the water bill came a little higher. There must be some leak somewhere because
You're like, or you took a little too long of a shower.
Those things really matter. Like right now, the coffee maker, the little toaster oven, I unplug them. And these are little things that may seem like stupid, but they're just not. I unplug them because that pulls electricity, So things like that. But again, it's just doing those exercises, doing the money plan with them that they can see what's going on, how it moves, and then when you're shopping, explaining to them, like I my son already knows generic brand, or if like sometimes when you buy bulk, it's not necessarily less expensive because it's bulk, like those comparisons. So things like that,
Yeah.
That's how they start learning, and I
That's
wish.
important.
Mhm.
That's important that when you mentioned the bulk thing, because to me, um, doing Dave Ramsey, because years ago, like I said, I had to get my finances cleaned up. I had to, you know, just clean it up and start over. And I listened to Dave Ramsey and then Danny Johnson. I loved Danny Johnson. She did this other type of thing, but hers was use everything until it's gone. Like cut the toothpaste tubes, like scrape whatever out. I mean, it was more like eat whatever cans you have before
Mhm.
you go back to the store. And my sons were young at that time. This was after I had gotten divorced with their dad, and so it was like I was on my own, and it was like I had to figure out, how to make this work. And the bulk thing became really embedded in my head. Sometimes, yeah, okay, but I didn't need to spend all that money for like paper towels to just sit on a shelf. Like I
Mhm.
need that money. And
Right.
so bulk, like that again is like a whole nother conversation, because some people are all for it and thinks it's great. But I'm like, if I'm looking at a storage unit that's just got all these things that you got because it was a great deal of in bulk, but I'm looking at all that money that's just sitting there, like, and it's
Mhm.
just sitting there that could be doing something else for you right now. And so it would be interesting to like actually have a conversation around that sometime. So
Yes, yes. And even when you go by into the store, like the fast food and stuff like that, and this is like a sales trick, right?
mhm.
That when you go buy a combo large, they automatically ask you for large. And most of the time, people, what they say,
Yeah, yeah, sure,
no, sure, no, why large? No, let me get small, regular,
yeah, yep.
So that's
Or
really,
if you don't get the whole combo, because we don't drink pop. Like I haven't drank pop in like years. And so if we are grabbing something, it's like I don't want the drink because I don't want to get just a water, but it's
Mhm.
more expensive to
Right.
not get the drink with it. And so sometimes I'll be like, yeah, just add something, and I know that I won't drink it. But other times if I'm like, no, I just want it, the sandwich and the fries, it's like $2 more just because I didn't make it a combo meal because I didn't want the pop or the
Yeah,
soda.
it's
It's crazy.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Unfortunately, many students and young adults are learning the hard way.
Mhm, mhm.
Unfortunately, and that's where, and to go a little deeper, debt is just not about money. That creates a lot of stress, not only for them, for everybody, right? Anxiety, the pressure, and you lose sleep, and and them, specifically as we're talking about college students, they carry that burden quietly because they feel embarrassed, they're trying to look okay and try not to worry their parents, so that they don't talk about it. They suffer in silence. So, and all that anxiety and financial stress affects everything, affects their sleep, their mental health, the grades, again, relationships, the confidence. It just affects everything because whether we like it or not, money touches almost every area of our life. So,
Yeah.
and that's why we need to create more spaces like this, more conversations like this for people to feel safe talking about money without shame and the guilt and embarrassment. We all go through it
Yep.
at some point in our lives. If again, if you're watching tonight and if you're a student, have kids in college, or have kids who are heading off to college, please share this video.
Yeah.
You know, it could really truly help someone who is struggling with this exact thing that we're talking about tonight, and you may not even realize that you're really carrying that burden.
Yeah.
And
And that's something that, almost as a parent breaks your heart to,
mhm,
if you're not transparent with your kids, to let them know of some of the mistakes that you've made and some of the lessons that maybe you wish you would have learned early, or if you're not open about that and you're always making it look like everything is perfect on your end too, they are going to carry a level of like shame or guilt, like you say, if they get in a situation, maybe they made some
mhm,
choices or thought that it, didn't understand really how it worked, and so now they're kind of like crap, like screw, feel screwed. It's like at least opening up the conversation to say, like, there's no shame, there's no blame. Let's learn from it, let's fix it, and let's move on. But I think we have to get comfortable having that conversation amongst us so that we can teach the next generation coming up differently.
Yeah. Like you said, there's no shame in having questions or not knowing everything about money. Like none of us came into this world knowing all about this money stuff and how to manage it. We learn, we grow, we made the mistakes. Again, we learn and we grow from it. Just hopefully we'll do better next time, and the real mistake is staying quiet and silent, continuing to struggle when there really are help and resources out there available.
Yep. Now, let me ask you just real quick before, because I know you're going to probably wrap up, but again, if it jumps in my head. Now, for people that feel, no, I just need to make more money, or I just need more money and then all my problems will be like solved. It's not really, is it? Because just if they end up with more money, if they don't know how to manage it and how it works and if they don't learn those skills, just making more money is not going to solve the problem, because chances are they'll end up making different choices that still repeat that cycle. So how do you get somebody to say, like, all right, Yara, I'm going to come and take whatever class you're offering next, or I'm going to buy the ebook that you have coming out next because I want to learn about this. Like, how does somebody just make that decision to say it's not about always making more money, it's about working with what you have?
Yeah, usually more money is like more spending. Increase income, most of the time it's just increase expenses, and you in the same spot. It's about clarity and awareness. It's about, as you said, managing what you have and getting clear and cutting, where you need to cut or where you should be cutting. I have found hundreds of dollars in people's budgets because they were able to put it, break it down, put it there. They didn't realize they had it.
Wow.
Again, it's about clarity. It's about making that plan and managing well what you have. Not go crazy.
Yeah.
Again, the subscriptions, those money leaks, subscriptions, a lot of like takeout, DoorDash, and all of that. The fees are crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Checking your insurance. Do you really need the amount of insurance that you have right now? All those things is the things that we look at before anything else.
Yeah.
And having very clear money plan for the month and knowing what's coming in, what's going on, and how where you're standing financially.
Yeah.
So more income will not really, I mean, who doesn't want more income, of course.
Yeah.
So just to answer the question, it's not going to resolve the problems. You can manage the little bit that you have. It's just going to create more problems.
Yeah. Yep. Wow.
So let's bring it home. So conversations like this is one of the reasons why I do what I do, because behind every financial struggle is always a real person. Sometimes all they need is just a little guidance, a little education and plan, and yes, like I said, we're not born knowing this, Today, yes, I am a personal financial coach. I do what I do. I've been doing this work for years. I teach, I coach, but I wasn't born knowing this stuff.
Yeah.
I have had my fair share of struggles, and again, like I said before, I'm a single mom. It's only one income. I have to be very, very careful with my money, because it's just me, and nobody came out of the womb knowing how to budget, how to manage money. So I'm human, just like everybody else watching tonight. So I made my mistakes. I lived through difficult financial seasons of stress and overwhelm. So yes, I've been there, done that. But at some point, I made a decision to take it upon myself and learn.
Yeah. Face it. Just look at it, face it, and not let it be an enemy. It's we all have to deal with money, and we all have to like live life. So nobody's exempt from this.
Exactly. I opened my very first bank account when I was just 11 years old. And like I said, I decided to learn and break that cycle and build a different life. But I didn't want to go through what I saw growing up,
Yeah.
in my family. I didn't want that for myself.
Yeah.
So I now have the privilege of helping other people and my fellow single mamas to do the same. It's this job is not just my business or a job. It's personal for me
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
I know how it feels. I know the struggles. I have experience. I'm living it right now.
Yeah.
You know,
And I think that's important for people, whether they're watching, whether they catch this live later or they catch the recording on Roku on the Prospera TV network, because that will be coming out in 2 weeks. But wherever they're catching this from, I think it's important that you're tapping into letting that single mama know, like, you've been there.
hmm
It's not like you read this information from your college manuscript and like now you're saying no, you put this number here and put this number here. No, you've lived it, you've breathed it, you've cried it. I'm sure there's been nights you've like cried as a single mama. I know I have. I remember like, again, after being divorced, my two sons, I would set the table and I would put the placemats down and I would even light a candle for us, and then we would cut our peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. It's like you could make it still be an experience, but it was like we got a loaf of bread and peanut butter and jelly and like make it work. So I love that you have that experience to tap into. I know where you're at. I know how hard it is, but there is hope. We
absolutely,
can do this. So that's so huge.
absolutely,
That's so important. Yeah.
yes. There's definitely hope. It is possible. It is possible. Yes, it takes sacrifices
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's not an overnight thing.
Yeah.
It's definitely gonna take sacrifices. It's gonna be things that you're gonna have to cut or kind of pause for a second till you come up with water and then continue swimming. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
Elena, before we wrap up tonight, what's one piece of advice that you can give a young adult college student that may be struggling financially right now?
Oh gosh, a young adult. I think of my two sons. They're not even in college and they're struggling. No, I would say number one, you're not the only one. Okay, understanding that it's not something that you did. It doesn't make you stupid. It doesn't make you like you're a bad person. It's just like, but my advice would be get help now.
hmm
Ask about it now, because if you don't tackle it now, then when you're 25, 35, 45, like it won't go, it doesn't just go away.
Right.
So face it, learn from it, forgive yourself, but get help now. Do the work now, because that will pay off years later.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And that's such a great reminder that no matter where we are financially, and not only for college students, that goes for anyone.
Yeah.
But struggling with not only financially, whatever it is, you need to face it because then you're gonna just continue that cycle
Yeah.
till you face it and work on it.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be, right?
Yeah.
But there's always hope. There's always a next step. There's always an opportunity to learn and do better and move forward. And in in the in the financial, as we talk, I know I cannot help every single person.
Mhm.
I wish I could, but I can certainly help the people that God put in front of me. So, and that's what Money Moves is all about. And if you're sitting here tonight feeling overwhelmed, confused, stuck, just wondering where to even start, and I want you to know that you don't have to figure it out alone. Feel free to send me a DM, no pressure, just to start the conversation. And sometimes that's what it takes, that first simple reaching out and just having that one conversation.
Yeah.
And let's see where it goes. Alrighty. So
Yes.
thank you so much, Elena, for spending this time with me. Thank you, everyone who's watching, for joining us tonight. Share your thoughts, drop it in the comments, your questions. Please share this video. Let's just normalize these conversations, please.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And as always, I see you, I feel you, I am you. We're in this together. Stay grounded, stay fierce, and let's keep making those badass mama moves. See you in the next one.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Bills pile high, but I won't lose sight. Got my fierce mama vibe, I'm ready to fight. Navigate the struggles, I'm the captain here. With my dreams in focus, no room for